Let's go ahead and try a software project now. I'll name it 2, and this one will be 60. Project phase, it'll be close. Green, 60 hours of work. Customer support, true. Testing, let's submit. Let Power Automate run in the background. Refresh. We now have a new software document. You see the actual work came through, the work came through. We created a new document. Metadata is filled out. We can open the document in SharePoint, and all the metadata is already filled out. Hey everyone, this is My SharePoint Questions, and I am Andrew Hess. So today, I wanted to go over using Microsoft Word with Power Apps. But one thing that a lot of people run into is when you use Microsoft Word with Power Apps, it actually uses a premium connector. You can see here, Word Online for Business, Power Apps Premium. We're not going to use that premium connector. We're not actually going to even have a connector to Word. And the same thing here for Power Automate. If you wanted to use Power Automate, it also uses a premium connector. So instead, what we're going to use is, based off my last 2 videos, is content types. And we're going to populate Microsoft Word through SharePoint with content types, no premium connectors. So if you guys have been enjoying my videos, thank you very much. My last 2 videos have been dealing with content types. I just want to say thank you to everybody, and if you're new here, please like and subscribe, and let's get into it. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create these content types. So I'm going to go to Site Information, View All Site Settings, and I already created the site columns in my last videos. So if you want to watch how I created site columns, you can do that. So here in Site Content Types, we're going to create a new content type. It's going to be regular document, right? Because we're going to create a document today. And we're going to use an existing category. We did all this before, but this time we're going to use document content type and the content type of type document. And we're going to create. Now we're going to add some site columns from existing site columns that we already have, and we grouped them here. So in a regular project, we're going to have actual work, assumptions, benefits, deliverables. We're going to have those columns here. Customer support and UAT is for our software projects. I'm going to go ahead and save. So we created one content type. So our next content type is going to be software documents. And we're going to use my existing category. And it's of type document and document. And this one has a few different columns that we created. Customer support. All right. So we have 2 type document content types. So let's go back to SharePoint. So this is my SharePoint list. Now you can create a new document library, or we can do this in the out-of-the-box document library. It kind of depends on what you want to do. So if you had documents that were for all projects, maybe you wanted to put instructions in there, or how to build a work breakdown structure, you could do that in the out-of-the-box documents. Don't ever delete the out-of-the-box documents library. I promise you, you don't want to do that. So I'm going to go to new, and I'm going to create a new document library, and I'm going to call it project documents. Now I didn't put a space in there out of habit. That's just something I do. I'm going to say show a navigation. So we have my new projects document library. And here we're going to add our content types. So I'm going to go to library settings. And I'm going to go to advanced settings. And I'm going to say allow management of content types. And I'm going to say OK. In the content types here, we're going to add our 2 document content types that we just created. So add from existing. And they should be grouped. We have regular document. Oh, I made a mistake. Well, I'm going to let it go. I forgot an S on one of them. But we have regular document and software documents. I made a little mistake. Hopefully that's okay. All right. So we have 2 documents, right? regular documents and software documents. Now, I went ahead and prepared a couple of Word documents, and pretty much they are just basic Word documents. So I just wrote this in here. We haven't attached anything to them. So I just went in here and basically wrote each of the column names in there. And we're going to want to pull this data into the document automatically through Power Apps. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to Settings, Library Settings. In Library Settings on Regular Document, so we'll click on Regular Document. There's a feature in Advanced Settings. And right here, it's a document template, right? So we're going to upload, and we're going to upload the regular project into the template, right? So I'm going to do the same thing for software documents. And to show you that again, so we're in Project Documents, Settings, Library Settings. You click on the content type, Software Documents. Then you go to Advanced Settings, upload a template, and then upload your Word document template that you have in there. And you probably have one better than I have. Like, I just basically threw something together, but you know, people make awesome Word templates. All right, so I uploaded that Word template in there, all right? So now let's go back to our document library. We're back in our document library. If we click New, and we do regular project, you can see it brings up that template. One step, we're done. That's pretty neat, right? So same thing here. If we do software project, it brings up that template. So you can see the fields are actually different here because software projects have a couple of different fields. But now what we really want to do is we want to attach the metadata of the content type to the Word document. So let me rename these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this in Client in the app. I'm going to open in App. So now that I have it opened in the app, let me make this a little bit bigger. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Title. I'm going to say Insert, Quick Parts, Document Property. You look in here, some of my fields from SharePoint are in here. Title, Quick Parts, Document Property, Work, Quick Parts, Document Property, Actual Work. All right, so now I'm going to do the same thing in software projects. I'm going to open in the app. I'm going to open in Microsoft Word. I'm going to attach the metadata by using Insert, Quick Parts. We're going to do the title, Work, project phase, project status, customer support, UAT testing, all right? And we're gonna let it auto-save. It's saving right now. So now that I have our two templates, I'm gonna download both of these templates, all right? So I'm gonna download. I'm gonna download both of these templates. Now that I've downloaded both of these templates, I'm gonna re-upload the templates back into the content type templates. So I'm gonna go back into the project documents, library settings, regular documents, advanced. I'm going to upload a new document template. I will choose the regular project template. So, yep. That's the one we just did. Now let's go back to software documents. And I'm going to re-upload the software project template. All right. So now we've re-uploaded those templates. Let's add some fields into this view. Now, in order for the quick parts to work, we actually have to open these documents in the client, in the app. So I'm going to go to Settings, Library Settings. In Advanced Settings, I'm going to say the default behavior to open the documents is in the client application. So I only want it to open in Word. I don't want it to open in the browser. And I'm going to click OK. All right, so now I've added a couple of fields into the view, right? The ones that are duplicate on both content types. So when I click New and do a new regular document, you can see the properties are opening up on the right side, right? So we have the title, so regular project title 1. And the actual work we'll say is 40, and you can see it actually filling in the information on the right side. And so when we save, we just got to make sure when we save we're in the site, and then task list project documents. We just want to make sure the first time when we save it there. So this is first regular project. And so we're going to save it there. Got it. I'm going to close. So we save to our SharePoint library. And look, the data, I didn't write anything in SharePoint. The data went straight into SharePoint, right? So if we open up this document, that data is still here. You know, we can write some major assumptions in this document. And this time it's going to auto save to the right place, so I can just close it. And if we put in that column, or if we take a look right here and we go to the 3 dots and we go to the properties of the document, we can see right here what I just wrote in Microsoft Word. I didn't write this in SharePoint. I wrote this in Word. I can write it in here in SharePoint. I can write it in here in SharePoint, and it will populate the document. So right, I wrote in benefits, it will populate the document. I then click on the document and it will populate the document. The document was then populated from writing in SharePoint. So we have that connection. Now that we have that connection, we're going to go to Power Apps. All right, so we're in Power Apps on a blank canvas. I just created my connection. We're going to connect to that project documents library. All right, so we connected to that project documents library. We're going to create a form, an edit form. And the data source will be that project documents. What we're going to do is the same thing I did on my last video. Is we're going to add in the content type field. All right, so we have our content type field. So I did the same thing last time on my last video. We're going to add a little drop down. So we'll have 2 items. We'll have regular projects and we'll have software projects. All right, so we have a drop down between regular projects and software projects. I'm going to duplicate this form, except for this one will not have assumptions, benefits, and deliverables. It will have customer support and UAT testing. And then we're going to set up the default selected items here. So I did this in my last video. I'll show you again. So the way you set up a default selected item of a content type is down here. You have to put in this OData type formula on the on change of this dropdown. We did this in my last video. Let me pull in that formula. If drop content type dot selected value equals regular projects, then we're going to update this variable. And we're going to do a new form. If we do, if it doesn't equal that, we're going to update this variable to false. So I'm going to put this in the on change property of my dropdown here. And it looks like I renamed both of my forms. Let me rename them. So this is form regular, and this is form software. And that should fix the red X of my onChange property. All right, so now we're gonna do the visibility here. So the visibility of this form is variable content type. So if regular projects is view, you'll see the regular projects or software projects. All right, so in order for our submit button to work, we're gonna have to use Power Automate. And this is the way that I figured out how to do this, is we're gonna upload our document templates to our site asset library, because we're gonna use those templates in Power Automate. In our site assets, we can store our templates here. And it's probably a good idea, that way you don't lose them anyways, and it's not on your computer. I'm gonna store the 2 templates in our site assets of our site collection. In Power App, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do on my submit button, I'm gonna do action, Power Automate, and I'm gonna create a new flow. And this flow is gonna be created from blank. And the first step we're gonna do is we're gonna get file, I believe it's content using path. Get file content using path. All right, and the file is gonna be in our site assets, and we're gonna choose regular project template. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna get file content, and I'm gonna do the same thing on software project. Site assets, and I'm gonna get software project template. Okay, so we have both of those get file content paths. Then we're gonna create file. And this is gonna be in SharePoint, so create file. So the site address will be our site collection, right? So site collection. The folder path is gonna be our project documents. The file name, we are going to ask in Power Apps. The file content, we are going to, so let me rename these. Let me rename this. This is file content regular project. And this one is rename file content regular software project. And I'm actually going to do a branch here. So we're going to do a condition. And it's going to be ask in Power Apps if it's equal to regular project. Then we're going to create the file here on the left side. It's going to say yes. And it's going to create the file content of the regular project. And then on the left side, we're going to create a file, or this is actually the right side. The right side, we're going to create a file, and it's going to be in the same folder. Let's see if I click that right. In the same folder, project documents, we are going to get the file name, and the file content will be of the software project type. So let's update the file properties. So update file properties in SharePoint. So update file properties. The file exists in our site collection. The library name is project documents. Now the unique identifier is the one that we use to create the file. All right. So then the title, we'll pull in the title. Actual work, ask in Power Apps. Project phase, this little button right here in gray, see more, ask in Power Apps. Same thing here, enter custom value for project status, see more, ask in Power Apps. Work, See more, ask in Power Apps. Assumptions, see more, ask in Power Apps. Benefits, see more, ask in Power Apps. Deliverables, see more, ask in Power Apps. Content type ID. So on this side, it's going to be regular document. All right. So the type regular document, we're going to fill in that information. So now let's do the same thing on the right side for software projects. So update file properties, library name, project documents, ID, the one that we use to create. So item ID. Title. It's going to be the file name. Actual work. Actual work. Here we're going to enter a custom value, and it's going to be the project phase. Custom value again. It's going to be the status value, the work. Assumptions, benefits, deliverables, we're all going to skip, enter custom value for customer support. And it's going to be asking in Power Apps. We did not do this before. Ask in Power Apps. Here, enter custom value. See more. Ask in Power Apps. Content type ID is going to be of software project documents. Software documents. All right, so now based on the condition is equal to regular projects, it's going to go to the left side and do yes. It's going to create a file and update those properties. On the right, if it's not equal to regular projects, it's going to create the file, create file 2. We use that item ID here from create file 2, and it fills in the properties. So let's save. All right, so we did use Power Automate, but we did not use the premium connector. So there's no extra cost that we're going to have to do here. So let's go back to Power Apps. All right, so in Power Apps, I have renamed my 2 title fields. So this is text software title, and this is text regular title. So let's do our submit button. Now we're going to use an if statement here also, like we did last time. So if drop content type dot selected dot value equals regular projects. So that's our drop down right here. Regular projects. If it's equal to regular projects, we're going to run this Power Automate flow. So if we get the name of it, Power App, and it has like an arrow in there, but with the IntelliSense, it should pull it up for us. So right here, the one with the run, we're going to pull that one in. So Power App, that's the full name of my Power App. I'm going to use the IntelliSense up here to help me. So under regular project, if it's equal to regular projects, we're going to use text regular title dot text. Next, condition. So the condition is actually our drop down here. So this is our drop content type dot selected dot value. All right. Next, update file properties actual work. That is our text regular actual dot text. Next, update file properties project phase. So drop regular phase dot selected dot value. File properties project. I believe this is status. So this is drop regular status dot selected dot value. And so we can use our IntelliSense even more. Next is work. So text regular work dot text. And then next is assumptions, benefits, and deliverables. So text assumptions.text text benefits dot text text deliverables dot text, and then we have customer support value will be blank, and the next one will also be blank. All right. So if it's equal to regular projects, we're going to fill all that out. If it's not equal to regular projects, we're going to run the Power Automate again. UAT.selected.value. All right, let's format that and kind of take a look. All right, so we've got it formatted in a nice view. If the dropdown is equal to regular projects, we're going to update these fields with this Power Automate. If it's not equal to regular projects, we're going to update these fields, which is my software project fields, and run Power Automate. Finally, let's test it out. All right, so we have regular projects and software projects. I do have a title in here. Let's do 40. Assumptions, no assumptions. No benefits, no deliverables. Initiate, well, let's change it to plan. Work is 40 also. All right, so we have all of our fields filled out. Let's submit. All right, we submitted. Power Automate is running in the background. Let's go back here. There's nothing in here yet. Let's hit refresh. It is a document in here, but we forgot to put docx in there. Let's go back to Power Apps. In Power Apps, in the actual names, we're going to put docx. So I made this mistake. It's all right. We can go back and fix it pretty easily. All right. Let's try it again. So we're going to use the same fields. I'm going to hit 2 and hit submit. And we're going to let Power Automate do its thing. Hit refresh. We now have our new document in here. It is of content type regular. We open it up. The fields are already filled in. So we've populated this through Power Apps. It's also populated the metadata in SharePoint. So that's really neat. Let's go ahead and try a software project now. I'll name it 2, and this one will be 60. Project phase, it'll be closed. Green, 60 hours of work. Customer support, true. Testing, let's submit. Let Power Automate run in the background. Refresh. We now have a new software document. You see the actual work came through, the work came through. We created a new document. Metadata is filled out. We can open the document in SharePoint, and all the metadata is already filled out. If we make a change here, if I were to make a change here and hit 50 and then let it autosave, it's actually going to update in SharePoint also. In work is now 50. So work was actually auto-populated in SharePoint. So let me delete this one before we put the docx in there. We now have a full working Power App that fills in a Microsoft Word document, and we did not use any premium connectors. Now, I know you may not think that's a big deal, but that's a big deal for me because I work in the government, and if we can do things for free without using taxpayer money, I promise you people will be much happier than us purchasing licenses for Power Automate to run premium connectors. So I know other people can design much better Word document templates in here. You know, you can have some nice HTML tables, all kinds of things that you can do in here to edit your document template. But we have populated a Word document through Power Apps and Power Automate. No premium connectors. Metadata is in SharePoint. Metadata is in the Word document. So thank you guys for watching. This was probably a very long video, but It's very complex, and I think this is very powerful. And this video, maybe Microsoft doesn't even want us to know how to do this. Very complex. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.